'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years alive. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey! Oh, yeah!
He did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn of something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time than this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year.
Whoa!
For a little while it seems time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see, everybody, 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see, 100 years ain't what it used to be.
with the show. Here we go.
The Krabby Coffee Shop, located on a pleasant bend on County Road 7, just outside, in Goodhue County, just outside Gumption County, brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1539. Are you kidding me? I forgot to write down the records. It was really warm on this day. Oh, in 2016, it was 92 on this day. And then on another day, it was chillier than that. Some year.
Close enough.
They're not in there, Rook. They're only in the St. Paul paper.
No, Douglas has got them.
Yeah, but it would be for yesterday.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You could just start the show.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner.
Hi.
Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee
Nope.
Shop. John Height in the newsroom.
Who?
And, of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king.
The only guy with a
fireworks
wardrobe
commissioner,
change.
and the keeper of common sense.
Damn right.
He really took it seriously, didn't he?
Damn right.
That's my favorite part about the new graphic.
Can you bring me in? I look a little ghostly to the fans.
I'll bring you in, all right.
I want to give an ode or pay homage to the sky. The clarity of the sky is unparalleled. I've never seen it this blue, this deep, this gorgeous. It's just fantastic. This is the result of we're trapped in an omega block. Omega is a Greek letter that's shaped like a what? An upside down U.
Yeah.
And on the east, the east arm of the omega is blocking anything from getting to us, and on the west arm of the omega is blocking anything getting to us. And we call it stuck, but I prefer to think we're gratefully placed in this beautiful period of time when you wake up and you see this sky, and there's never been anything like it. I can't think of the last time it was like this.
Quick question. Mm-hmm. Are you high?
No, I'm not.
All right.
And I mentioned...
My roommate used the word on Saturday numerous times describing the day as glorious. Would you use glorious?
Absolutely. It's just glorious. This is the day the Lord hath made. You
Well,
could use that one.
I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it then.
Yeah.
There's actually a song that perfectly
Chris,
describes...
I don't want to hear one of your second grade songs.
There's a hole in the sky.
See,
where
no,
the tree once
you
was.
wrecked the mood is what you did there.
What did I do?
You shut the show down.
Now we're going to get angry
Do you
comments.
feel shame?
Now we're going to get angry
Go
comments
to the
on
box.
YouTube. Political.
You feel shame. Yep, here comes the hate.
You see an airplane and you could reach up and touch it. It's almost like seeing it in a mirror.
Literally.
It's
Yeah,
just it's been a while. I'm sure we've had days like this before. I'm sure we've had omega blocks.
I didn't really pay attention, but I will when I go outside.
We know.
Do you ever have it occur to you to just stop and look at the sky and be grateful for it?
No, not really.
Okay.
Unless
Every
I'm looking
day.
towards something.
Every day.
Now, I mentioned that the Krabby Coffee Shop bringing us this show located on a friendly bend in the road on Goodhue County Road 7 near Welch Village. If you've never driven County Road 7, here's the deal. Let's say you're headed to Red Wing.
Okay.
And
I'm on the map right now.
Okay, and you're eastbound on 61. You're coming out of Hastings, you take a left,
I'm with you.
and you're going down 61. Before you get to the big sweeping turn that takes you down into Red Wing, you'll be offered County Road 7. Goodhue. I hate to do this because now it'll be packed. But you're offered County Road 7, which I was totally unaware of until a few years ago.
It's called, this is weird. I've never seen this, County 7 Boulevard.
Yeah. And I was unaware of Welch Village, but when you turn onto County Road 7 to go southbound, you got about 5 or 6 miles, I don't know, maybe more, maybe less, but of complete twisty road through wooded areas and wetlands, and then you go through the there actually is a village called Welch Village. It's also the ski area.
Yep.
And you finish this circuitous route. It's not circuitous. It's just windy and twisty and really just wonderful. Then you'll come out on the south end. You'll tee at Highway 19. And you could take a right and go to Cannon Falls or Northfield or whatever. Take a left. County Road 19 will rejoin you at 61, and you take a right and go down into Red Wing. So it's just a 5, 10, 15-minute break from 61 that's still going to get you to Red Wing, but you'll just enjoy this 5 or 6 miles of County Road 7. It's Goodhue County. Goodhue County.
You know, that would be a fun diversion, that the loop we always take on our motorbikes, where we go down south on the Wisconsin side on 35.
Yeah.
Where do we go all the way down to Wabasha or Winona?
Yeah.
Then jump across the river up to 61, up to Red Wing. That would be a nice little diversion. I bet. What's it take, you think? 10 minutes to do the loop? 20 minutes?
Yeah, if you're northbound on 61, then you're going to go westbound on 19.
Yeah.
Go westbound on 19, you'll be offered a chance to take a right on Goodhue County Road 7. And then the opposite is true at the end. You'll come out on 61 and take a left and go back into the sustainable urban core.
And that's perfect if you're in the metro. You want to go for a ride, get out of the house, get out of town, get away from the kids. I want to, in turn, offer you one, Joe.
All right.
You're on.
I'm going to write it down.
You're on 371.
Know it well.
You're going north. You've passed Gull Lake. You've passed Hole in the Day Lake. You're going to stay on 371 till you get to Pine River.
Pine River, yes.
In Pine River, you are going to turn on. It's not giving me the name of the street, but it's the main thoroughfare through Pine River. Takes you over the Pine River Dam.
Am I going west now?
You're going east.
I'm going to go east off 371.
And you hook up with Highway 81, and that thing is turny, twisty. Sometimes you have to slow down to 10 miles an hour for some of these curves, and they just retarded the road a few years ago. You take this thing all the way up to
what is it? Highway 82?
84.
84. And what direction am I going on the
You're going to be
compass?
going northbound.
North on 84.
And you're going to just stay on it till you come to the tiny little burb of Longville,
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota.
Yep.
And I guarantee you, by the time you get to Longville, you're going to just turn it around and take the same road back to Pine River. It's that fun.
Is it
it's a lot of
Longville
fun.
where they have the turtle races?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The home of Levi LaValle, snowmobile racer.
Let me review this. Northbound 371 to Pine River. Take the main drag through Pine River.
Yep.
Go, and I'm going to be doing that going east to Highway 84, and then at which point I'm going to go north to Longville.
Yep.
Okay.
And you will love it. Small cars, motorcycle. And I don't care if you're riding a hog or a sport bike. You're going to have fun. It's a fun road.
That's a lot of driving and riding without factoring in King's Place in Meesville for a delicious burger.
You can do that when you took Kenny's route. You can just drive right by there, or not Kenny, but Joe's route. Drive by, stop for a burger, and then keep going down that road and turn onto the Welch Village turn there.
Fantastic.
Well, Rook, that's interesting, but again, none of this was based on food. I didn't.
Well, you're going to have to stop for lunch. I'm giving you a good recommendation.
I'm just saying.
Cannon River Inn, if you're going down by the river. If you're going to go tubing with the family in the Cannon River, which I do annually.
Well, there you have it. GLers will love it. It's County Road 7 in Goodhue County, and there's a park in there. I think it's Cannon River or something, and. So I got a brother who bicycles that County Road 7. I said, you can't be on the road. That'd be waiting. He says, no, there's a trail the whole way for the bikes. And that would be much safer, of course. There's a new adjective for our governor.
Boy, he changed a lot since he quit smoking. That guy, I don't know about him.
Yeah. No, this was Johnny, not
Johnny?
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
Thanks to Kelly, who writes this. I've listened to GL for many years, including on 1500, and now the podcast is truly a highlight of my day for a couple of reasons. Thank you, Kelly. Having said that, I can't help but smile and chuckle with your adjectives describing our governor. All right on. But I think it's time for a new descriptive word for him that may flow nicely. It comes from the Urban Dictionary. I think it's in a regular dictionary, too. I found this word in an article I was reading 5 years ago. I had no idea what it meant, so I looked it up. And it just dawned on me today. The word exactly describes our governor. And I think you could add this adjective when referring to him. He's a cockwomble.
Oh.
A cockwomble is a person, usually male, prone to making outrageously stupid statements and or inappropriate behavior while generally having a very high opinion of their own wisdom and importance. A completely useless person that spouts constant BS. Cockwomble. Governor Tim Cockwomble.
Okay.
Look up Cockwomble, please.
Can I?
I've got it right here.
I want it from a regular dictionary.
My filter stops.
Does it really?
No, I'm kidding.
Just go to dictionary on one of your sites, please, and give me the definition, Cockwomble. I've heard of the word. I just had forgotten it over time.
Cockwomble is an informal slang term used to describe an individual who is considered foolish, incompetent, or irritating.
This is the perfect word for this guy.
Often used in a derogatory manner to criticize
I
someone's
mean
behavior.
it in a derogatory
You're
way,
on that
believe
one.
me.
I got you.
That's it. Thank you, Kelly. It's a perfectly legitimate word. We've even done that without any snickering. It's just a perfect word for this guy. He's a cockwomble. Now, I also tried to reach Minnesota House of Representative Rick Hansen, who strikes me as an entirely normal-looking human being, even though he's a DFLer. He's married. He's got a kid. They live in South St. Paul. He's got a number of degrees. He's very schooled and knowledgeable in biology and soil management, and he's actually had real jobs. But he's a legislator that wants to prevent us from having car keys because car keys contain trace amounts of lead. And apparently I called him and said, Rick, you can't possibly believe that children are eating car keys. Would you like to come on the show? And I've not heard back. So it'll soon be illegal to have car keys. This is a crying shame. Most keys are made of brass, and brass contains a trace amount of lead, which improves performance, prevents corrosion, and makes keys easier to machine cut. This is a brief little Bill Walsh piece, center of the American experiment. But that trace amount of lead in keys was not exempted from a new Aaron Brockovich-style law banning PFAS, or per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, otherwise known as forever chemicals. Minnesota now has the most stringent PFAS laws in the world, surpassing European socialists and Gavin Newsom's California. With only weeks left in the session, Democrats and the Cockwomble administration do not appear interested in fixing this legislative oversight by simply exempting keys from the law. The House author, Representative Rick Hansen, told Axios the state needs to reduce exposure to dangerous elements like lead and cadmium. As parents know, kids put keys in their mouth, he said. God help us.
Not to turn the car on.
The Minnesota Pollution Control Administration testified in committee that they are working an alternative to traditional keys and fobs, but could not identify anyone asked. In the Senate, Grant Hochschild, a Democrat who eagerly voted for the original bill and championed its passage, is now trying to exempt keys from the regulations. Well, good for him. This is a common problem at the Minnesota legislature. Democrats pass laws based on emotion and empathy that either don't work, are declared unconstitutional, or are fraught with unintended consequences. Then they rely on Republicans to dutifully offer a legislative fix in the next session. That fix becomes part of the Republican agenda and must be traded for other policy or finance provisions at the end of the session. We can hear Governor Walz negotiating. Okay, we'll give you your key fix, but in return, we want a tax increase. That's the game they're always playing. Republican legislators should not help Democrats fix their key problem this year. None of them voted for the original bill. Democrats need to own the problem and the solution, or explain to Minnesotans why they can't get their boat key duplicated at Ace Hardware Store this summer. We are about to not have keys. What are they going to do? Come and take our keys?
Can I pull you away from the ledge? Just ever so gently.
I wish you would.
The law bans the manufacturing, importing, and selling of these items if they contain more than a specified amount of lead and cadmium. That means that the keys we currently have will be fine. But we can't, like you said, we can't get new keys cut. Here's the other thing I looked up, and I love.
Incredible.
I know. The other irony here. This is so good. I Googled how many people have died from lead poisoning in car keys. I got one hit from 2018.
Really?
But I don't think they knew what I was looking for. Here's the headline. Report: more than 24 people have died from a keyless ignition danger. On top of the death, dozens have got sick from carbon monoxide, some resulting in brain damage.
Can I tell you why that is? Can I tell you seriously?
Please do.
It is very easy with push-button start to occasionally forget that your car is running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did it once at a kid's softball game. I got out of the car, walked a block, turned around and saw my lights were still on. Uh-oh. They should have turned off by then. I walked back. I had left the car running. I didn't turn it off.
Joe, the irony where car keys haven't killed anybody, but push-button starts have.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
The push-button start was a solution to a problem we didn't have.
Yep. Amen.
Yeah. Well, in any event, folks,
Got to do it.
would it be wise counsel? Seriously, for example, if you wanted to make sure you had a duplicate boat key, should you go get one made right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say that was the Scott Johnson piece?
No, it's a
Bill
Walsh piece.
Oh, Walsh, yeah. Is he the one that said he's going to open up a key store over in Hudson?
No, I don't think he said that.
We're all going to be running to Wisconsin and or the Dakotas to get
Sioux
our
Falls.
keys made. Yeah, Iowa. Yeah.
Well, here's what you do. You go to EcoFund now. I don't think electric bikes have keys. I'm trying to think. But if they do,
Electric start.
you buy anything new at, yes?
You almost converted a fellow worker yesterday to buying an EcoFun motorsport bike.
Who?
Patrick.
Oh, yeah. Pat's thinking of taking up biking. And he wants one of those seats that's the size of about a tractor seat.
Oh.
And they can do that for you at EcoFund.
I want to see that.
But here's the deal.
I need big tires.
Hello, we're doing an EcoFund
Yes, on the
spot.
program.
It's on Highway 97, just west of 35, up in Forest Lake / Columbus, and on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42 in Burnsville. It's the greatest store I've ever been in for toys, adult toys, kids, youth recreational equipment, scooters, electric bikes, motorcycles, jet skis, 4x4s, side-by-sides, helmets, apparel. But anything you get at EcoFun obviously will come from the manufacturer, I would imagine, with 2 keys, right? Mm-hmm. So make sure you take one of them to the hardware store and get another key made just because you're flaunting the soon-to-be law.
Get her done.
Get extra keys, and you'll need it because everybody's going to want to use the stuff you get from EcoFun. It's really fun. And everything in the store right now was brought in pre-tariff, including the Scootstar electric bikes, which are hands down the coolest-looking electric bikes on the market. They got the off-road electric bikes. They got everything. They got everything you need, and they got the right gal there, Kaylin, to get you out in the parking lot and fit that baby so everything is perfect when you leave for your summer of electric bike riding. EcoFunMotorsports.com.
'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Jenny, hey.
Rook.
She gone.
Can't find this.
Steely Dan.
I can't. Why is this?
Garage Logic.
Oh, it's like this.
It's upside down.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
I'm really hoping that by now you've had a chance to hook up with ProTurf and are well on your way to having the best lawn in your neighborhood. But we need to talk about something else. We need to talk about your outdoor environment at your place. Take advantage of ProTurf's landscape division by going to professionalturf.com and getting a free consultation so you can discuss that situation that's been, it's a little sketch, as they say. ProTurf, they're a certified landscape designer by the Minnesota Nursery Landscape Association, and they can work with you to design your project using their digital landscape imaging software. That basically means you're going to see the finished product before they even start, full color. And it's really cool. And ProTurf, they specialize in everything and anything landscape related. I could run down the full list. We'd be here all day. No design is too big. The work they do is amazing, and it will definitely improve your curb appeal. And you know what else? Better than that, it's going to force the appreciation and build equity in your estate. And that, my friend, is the American dream. I want you to check out their work and then schedule that free in-person landscape design estimate. You do all of that at professionalturf.com.
Today marks the 60th anniversary of a string of tornadoes that struck the west side of town. And I bring it up because nothing like it has happened since. You'd think that we've invented the fact that we're destroying the world since 1965. It's been very faddish to say we're destroying the world. You would think in the last 60 years there would have been a storm to rival this. There has not been. And I can't emphasize enough. They were seriously destructive major league tornadoes. 6 of them. 13 people died. 500 people were injured. Neighborhoods were wiped out. They were as bad as anything you now see on the national news, which is usually led by a weather event to reinforce the idea that we're ruining the earth. 1,300 people were left homeless. It was an unseasonably warm day that gave way to an evening of rain, hail, lightning, and then multiple tornadoes. They began in Carver County, not far from where the National Weather Service is today. There has not been another documented instance of this many F4 or higher tornadoes in Minnesota since that date. That's according to Tyler Hassenstein, meteorologist with the National Weather Service. 6 F4s. Nothing like it since. I'm not sure about before. I'm sorry, 4 of the tornadoes were F4s, meaning those wind speeds were more than 200 miles an hour. As the storms moved east, pictures show a home destroyed in Chanhassen, mangled cars and trees near Waconia, a trailer park decimated. Fridley may have been hit the worst. 2 F4 tornadoes touched down in the city within an hour and a half of each other. And this Hassenstein says that's something you really do not see very often at all. We roofs off school buildings. It was amazing. It was the first event, this is 60 years ago now, it was the first event where the outdoor warning sirens were used for the first time.
Oh, the civil defense?
Yeah. And, thank God for that, because that might have saved some lives. Because these babies were... Well, I lived in Matamidi at the time. So that's the east shore of White Bear Lake.
Yep.
And I can distinctly remember looking at the western horizon and seeing these funnels on their way to...
Really?
Probably to Fridley.
Hauntingly?
Yes, very eerie.
I'm reading about it now, and it's really interesting. They were called supercells, and with a stalled boundary. So these storms would form, then dissipate, and then reform in the exact same area again and again and again. Joe, wind speeds, are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Up to 260 miles per hour. Yeah. That's hurricane
It really
wind.
is. Radar was primitive. Hassenstein said WCCO radio played a big role in getting the word out. Well, back then, that would have been your go-to place, huh? So people could take cover. After the weather cleared, 13 people were found dead, $51 million in damages, 6 counties affected. In just terms of the overall length of the tornadoes, it would be considered one of, if not the worst in Minnesota history. I have a picture of Tonka Bay Marine at Lake Minnetonka, and by today's standards, with this hobby of collecting wood boats, there's got to be a couple $100,000 in today's money of Chris Crafts, Centuries, Hacker Crafts, whatever, just jumbled and laying like somebody took a bag of Lincoln logs and dumped them on the floor. They're just scattered everywhere.
What a shame.
It's just, I bet many of them were repairable, but holy mackerel. It was a beauty, and we haven't had anything since like that. Now, how could that be? We're ruining the earth.
We've been lucky.
Maybe that's just
We've been
it.
lucky.
Maybe we're just lucky. And that day they were just unlucky.
Right.
See?
Right. To that extent.
So it was today. I remember it distinctly. I remember hearing about it on the radio. For my money, the local television stations could not do enough on this tonight. I wish. In fact, I wish there was a documentary. In fact, there probably has been. I don't know. Maybe PBS did it, or
If they had a sense of humor, they would interrupt normal programming to show the documentary.
Yeah.
Well, it has been all over social media. I know.
I don't count that.
I'm not on social media anymore. I'm better than you guys.
I don't count that. I want to see the old film footage. Wouldn't that be neat?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it seems like yesterday, but it's 60 years ago. You can imagine what the film footage would be like.
Baseball-sized hail.
Oh, God, it was just a hell of a storm.
CCO did a story on it over the weekend, it looks like.
Did they?
Yep.
Well, that's what they were known for. They once school closings became the province of the internet, the poor station went under.
Did they have 4-minute segments with 19 minutes of ads?
Yeah. No, the old neighbor back then probably saved some lives.
Oh.
Because that's the only thing you would tune into.
Sure.
By virtue of the grease in your kitchen air, the dial was frozen on WCCO on the kitchen radio. And boy, people gathered around it and listened to that because...
School closings?
Oh, that was...
Point of law?
Made point of law.
Isn't it true, Senator?
No, not really.
And then
So there you have it. We didn't get hit where I lived.
So it didn't happen.
No, it happened. But I think Dave Dahl, has told us the story of that motivated him to become a weather guy because it hit him. It hit his house in Fridley, or if he lived in Fridley or Osseo, I can't remember. But you got his number?
Yeah.
You count on Dave.
Well, we do count on Dave. Rookie's going to call him just for the hell of it. We'll just
Because that'd be really good with him sitting there with an open mic. How about I just send him a text? Do you want to talk to him today?
right
No,
now
call
if he's
him.
available.
Definitely call him.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Well, he couldn't have been 10, if that. So he had
Dave Dahl.
he had the weather bug in his craw pretty early in life, but it was because of this storm, which was the real deal. We have 2 people now attempting to reach Dave.
No, I'm
You want me
saying
to
a
try?
text.
Yeah, I can too.
Rookie's
if you
got
want.
it going, and Reavers has got it going, and now Rookie's got a phone that's ringing, and at any moment we could be talking to the man whose long Hall of Fame career was founded on this day in 1965. It's ringing. I'm afraid we won't get an answer.
Voicemail.
Forget it. Forget it. It's okay. Thank you. I have good news regarding our Native American brothers and sisters.
Oh, good. I would be eager to hear about that since my wife and kids are.
Well, it's a piece from the American Thinker, and what we're learning is that in New York, the Massapequa Chiefs is a Long Island is a school in the Long Island School District, and they go by the name of the Massapequa Chiefs. And a tiny woke minority has forbidden the school from being called the Chiefs. In fact, New York passed a law prohibiting the use of team names that perpetuate stereotypes, cutting off state funding as a penalty for noncompliance. The Massapequa case pits woke cancel culture against Native American voices who don't deem the term Chiefs to be racist, but instead as honoring their traditions. Many American Indians claim Chiefs is not a disparaging name, but a historical vestige of their culture that New York seeks to erase in political correctitude. May I say that everyone can really get up in arms about Trump canceling things. Don't the left cancel just as much? The
They
left go
attempt
in
to.
there and say, you're not getting any money unless you get rid of the word Chiefs. Has Trump ever done that?
Let's not go down that road. I don't want to fight today.
What do you got, Rook?
That was Dave, and yes, you will.
Well, let's call him right now. Well, finish the Chiefs thing. You get him on the line. U.S. Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon is investigating New York's attack on the local school's liberty, claiming the state of New York is erasing Native Americans, their rich history, and their deep connection to the state. Many tribal members agree with Secretary McMahon, and so far I think we're going to get the name back. I
think if you have the support, then okay. In some cases, it might not work if the...
Is Dave with us? Dave, I was telling the story. I was telling the story that it's 60 years ago today, the famous tornado outbreak. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you telling me that probably more than anything drove you into the weather business. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
Were you living in Fridley or Osseo?
Circle Pines.
Circle
So
Pines.
we were just to the northeast of Fridley.
Yep.
And when they hit Fridley first. My cousins lived in Fridley, and the communications were down because it just wiped out like the Rice Creek Terrace area in Fridley.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had been talking to my cousin earlier, and then it cut out. I couldn't, we couldn't communicate after that. So the storms hit them first, and then hit us. And I was living in a house that didn't have a basement. My mom and dad were not the richest people in the world.
Right.
I love them to death, but we had no basement, a crawl space under the house. Basically,
Well, where did you go?
We went to the central hallway. I was with my brothers and sisters. We had 5 of us, and we were just kind of huddled in the hallway. One tornado, it was a twin tornado that went down Old Highway 8 and missed our house by about a quarter of a mile.
Right.
But it hit, neighbors and just destroyed a lot. As we know, I think there was 1,500 total homes either damaged or destroyed.
Well, that's the number in the story. Did your house survive?
It did. It did. We were, it was a blessing for sure because it shouldn't have. There were houses around us that got obliterated, and we basically didn't get touched.
From a meteorological standpoint, I mean, we're supposedly ruining the earth, and supposedly storms are getting more severe. Why has that not happened since?
Well, it's just the odds. You look at the odds, and that's what they used to say. The heat island would keep storms away from a city.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true.
That's
we've
nonsense.
seen Miami get hit. We've seen Chicago get hit. We've seen the Twin Cities get hit. So it's just the odds of it happening. The odds of any of us actually living in a tornado or getting through a tornado, it's very small.
Right.
There aren't that many of them.
Right.
So it's just, it's still to this day kind of irks me that people think that there's something special about being in a city when it comes to a tornado. There isn't.
Dave, what did you hear? It's Rook. What did you hear when you were huddled?
My brother farting a lot.
A lot of nervousness, I would imagine.
Yeah. It was crazy. We were hearing our houses get pelted by. We had a stucco house, so it didn't get siding damage like houses these days get damaged by hail. But we were just getting pelted by golf ball size hail, and just a lot of noise outside. My mom was looking out a window.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you can do. She was watching all this happen through a window, and she luckily the window didn't get hit, didn't get broken, and we all survived.
Well, what impact did it have on you?
It was a huge impact because I thought I was going to die that night. I mean, literally, when you don't have a basement and
How old were you?
I was 10.
All right, you were 10, and you thought you were going to die.
Thought I was going to die, and that one night, with that many tornadoes in our area, made just a huge impact on me. From that night on, I wanted to figure out what causes tornadoes and if we can predict them better. And every book that I got from my mom and dad, I'd get books for my birthday, and they'd all be about weather. And I read every book that I could read about weather, and I just loved it.
Was it something your mom and dad talked about over the years?
They did many times, I think, because my dad, believe it or not, was at a bowling banquet in Moundsview that night, and communications were cut off, so we couldn't talk to him or anything.
Did he get home?
Yeah, he got home, but he way late that night because there was so much crap in the streets, and the highway patrol had blocked off the freeway. Just a lot of. But I don't think he got home until, and I stayed up. I think it was like 1 a.m. before he got home. But we were thankful that he was okay.
And he was in no shape to talk about it at that point, right?
He was lit up, right?
No, he didn't drink. He did not drink.
Okay, all right.
Are your mom and dad still with us?
They are not.
Okay.
They both passed. Impactful day for sure. And you just can't realize what a total impact it had on you until years later. But it did make me study what I wanted to study, and that was weather.
The only lasting we were in Matamidi, which did not get hit, but I could see the funnels on the western horizon.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It was a very, very eerie signal. It was very strange. What
doesn't happen, Joe, very often is there was a place in Fridley, I believe it was in Rice Creek Terrace, where a tornado crossed paths with another tornado 20 minutes apart.
Good Lord.
So it exactly went over the same spot. You can see the tracks. Wow. If you ever look up the tracks of the tornadoes back in 1965, there's one place that got hit, and it was obliterated. And I remember Vice President Humphrey coming in the next day in a military helicopter and landing in that, and I thought this looked like a bomb had gone off. I mean, there was nothing standing. Even trees, they're just twigs sticking out of the ground.
That was a really wild spring because it was the same spring as the very significant flooding in the Mississippi.
Absolutely.
And Minnesota.
And Minnesota rivers.
Yeah. I think that all played a part into this kind of an outbreak happening in May 6th, which is early for a tornado outbreak for here in Minnesota. Most of our tornadoes come in June and July. And May was early May especially.
Did the tornadoes precede the flooding?
No, the flooding had happened already. I believe it was in April.
All right.
The worst flooding was in the middle of April. I think that's where we reached our high point in downtown St. Paul.
Right.
So yeah, but I think it all played a part. All those different weather events kind of played a part in '65 being a very interesting spring.
Dave, you'll understand this. I've looked it up on the internet, and it said it was a stalled boundary. A line of supercells formed along a stalled boundary between two low-pressure areas, one in Canada, one in Nebraska. And then these storms, like you just mentioned, formed and reformed over the same general area, causing some locations to be hit numerous times.
Right. There were three waves of storms, supercells, that formed along that stationary boundary. They'd form, then move along, and then another one would form. There were three of them that came through, which was, I remember the Weather Service talking about it for weeks afterwards, saying how unusual it was to have three separate waves of supercells come through one spot. And basically it was what we used to call back in the day, the Tornado Alley was northwestern suburbs of the Twin Cities, was from Lake Minnetonka up through Fridley. Those spots usually would get a tornado. If there was a tornado warning that was going on, it was affecting those areas.
And then years later, didn't Care 11 got famous for chasing one in a helicopter in the same area, right, Dave?
Correct. Yeah, Brooks. What was the name of the park? It was
I don't remember.
It was a nature center, but it was that was in 19.
That was early on. It's what legitimized Care 11.
I want to say it was 80.
That was 87. 87 or 88.
Yeah.
Dave, that was in 65 on May 6th. That was the first occasion of using sirens.
Was it really?
Yeah, they had not previously been used. And radar was primitive, wasn't it? Not the kind of stuff you guys have today.
No, it was black and white. We had white spots on the radar scope that would show where storms were. And colorized radar didn't come until afterwards.
It was kind of a novelty then, right? We didn't actually have meteorologists on the air. We just had guys, right?
Some guy who at 3 o'clock was Bozo the Clown, and then at 10 o'clock he was doing the weather.
Pretty much, yeah.
Who would that have been? Findon?
Oh, this is way before.
That was before Roy.
Yeah, it was. Geez.
Bud Kraling never saw a weather book in his life. He was a talk show host or something.
What a great guy.
Oh, yeah, he was a wonderful guy.
So, Dave, you were just chasing some storms a couple of weeks ago, were you not, in southern Minnesota? I thought I heard that.
It was just like a week ago. Wasn't it Monday, a week ago today?
Yes.
Yeah.
What'd you find?
A week ago today. We saw one. We caught one, and we put it on Facebook page. It was Paul Barber. He kind of owns and runs Ziggy's in Hudson, and I do a broadcast there for football on all the Sundays that the Vikings are playing. We do a party there as the biggest Vikings bar in Wisconsin, and it really is. We packed the place out. But anyways, Paul Barber and I went chasing, and I had John Uhas was out too with another truck. There was a direct satellite link.
Yeah.
And, we had a good time. We caught one that was just outside of New Ulm, and then we went to Waseca and got hit by these 70-mile-an-hour, it's called a rear flank downdraft that comes in behind a tornado.
Whoa.
And that thing hit us hard. And we just had a little car, but we ran into a lot of storm chasers that night because it was all pretty hyped, and I think it was overhyped. But
oddly enough, that was also your best tennis move, wasn't it?
Funny.
Dave, thank you. How's your life? You good?
I'm good. I'm still healthy. How about you?
Good.
I haven't talked to you in a long time. What's up with you?
Well, we do a podcast,
still
Dave.
crabby.
What's up with you?
Dave, he's transitioning right now, about to go under the knife.
Okay. I believe he is.
I'm going to be calling you shortly and getting you on Krabby, so look for that call.
Okay, shortly today, as in today? Or
nah,
something?
give me
What, do you got plans you're worried about?
June. I'm going to call you in June, David.
You guys are awesome.
Goodbye, Dave.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Dave.
Dave, look
See
at
you,
him.
Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, we got to give him a proper sign off.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ken. What were you going to say?
I think we were talking about Barry Zavan, were we not?
I think he wasn't even around then. No, in 65, you were using the guys who were the rear end of a horse on a kid's show, and then they would show. No, they didn't have. They didn't have meteorologists.
You don't think so?
What do you want? This thing?
Well, I want to count on Dave.
You know where I'm hiding in the event of a tornado?
Where?
The garage. No, I'm not kidding, because one of the walls...
Tornado-proof doors.
Well, it is tornado-proof, because one of the walls is built into the earth. Get it? The land. It would be tough to knock that over. So if the little brats happen to be over, I'd say, "Come on, we're going out to the garage.
Here we go.
Lay down here against the cement there. Just shut up. It'll pass." And then
Just shut up.
Yeah.
Stop your belly aching.
Stop whining.
And then if the door got blown out, I'd have to call Precision Door MN, and they'd have to put a new door in.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. They do everything for garage doors. They become the garage door guy of Garage Logic. Put this number into your contact, 612-263-6985. As I mentioned, they do have a variety of garage doors based for every budget. They send out a designer. That's free, of course. If you want to make your appointment online for either a maintenance appointment or a new door visit, do it at precisiondoormn.com. That's one word, precisiondoormn.com.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
We were snooping around before the show, Gio. I was wondering if you've had a chance to snoop around at kbid.com yet. Auction prices, I have always found, are a true indication. Now, this is my opinion, but I've always thought they were a true indication of the true value of an item and whatever you might be looking for. There's a good chance you might find it on KBid, unless it's a 65 Impala, and I'm thankful it's not on KBid because I don't want to spend that kind of money. Anyway, where was I? Oh, KBid. By the way, that's k-bid.com. Tractors, yeah. Airplanes, they've done that before. Fish houses, boats, treadmills, wood stoves. I could go on and on. What are you looking for? Just go to kbid.com, enter it in the search. It is an online auction venue where you can bid on just about anything. And they do everything from business liquidations to estate treasures, even real estate. And they have sold it all. Like I said, from new airplanes to old antique dish sets. And there's new items added every day for you to peruse. The best part? It's free. And it's super easy to register. Just head to k-bid.com, create an account, and start bidding. You're there. And then you can bid, buy, and brag about the amazing deal you just scored. It's really that simple. I've actually, truth been told, I've been a KBid guy for years, and I really love checking out all the online auctions without all the hassles of driving around the country. K-bid.com. KBid, where the next great deal is just a bid away.
Here's John Haidt.
Thank you, Joe. This update brought to you by North American Banking Company. If I may, newspapers.com. I went to check on the tornado outbreak in 1965, the day after.
Yeah.
Because this writing always amazes me and is so interesting. The lead story about the tornado,
right?
The lead of that story is written by Dick Cunningham.
I knew Dick, yep.
Tornadoes roared like a gang of drunken devils for 6 hours through the Minneapolis area Thursday night, killing at least 10, injuring hundreds, and tossing trucks and cars around like toys.
Yep.
It's a little different than we write for newspapers.
What were the pictures like?
There's a huge picture on the front page showing a gigantic tornado moving through Fridley, very near Fridley Junior High School, although it moved through at night, so there was nobody in the school, but just giving an indication of where it was. And then there's some pictures inside of some of the destruction and amazing stories. You talk about having a staff to write. The front page has 4 different stories by 4 different writers.
Give me the writers' names.
John Turinis.
Don't know that.
Al Magadaha.
No.
And this one, you'll recognize immediately. He was a staff writer at the time. We knew him later as a business writer, Dick Youngblood.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they're very cool, not cool stories, I shouldn't
well,
say
that was your
you know
internet of the day. You were going to go to the paper.
Yeah. It's fascinating stuff. This website, not to do an ad for it, but it's amazing, newspapers.com, if you get a chance.
It should be a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think somebody. Well, anyway, let's move along here to the news. A Minnesota state senator announcing his campaign this morning to try to be the next representative for the state's 2nd congressional district. Dr. Matt Klein, a Democrat from Mendota Heights, currently holds the seat for District 53 of the Minnesota Senate, which covers Washington County and northern Dakota County. He also works in internal medicine at Mayo Clinic, according to his campaign announcement. The 2nd congressional district seat is currently held by Angie Craig, who just last week formally announced her campaign for a U.S. Senate seat that's being vacated. Current Minnesota U.S. Senator Tina Smith announced in February she will not be seeking re-election for that seat. Minneapolis police are investigating a homicide that left a 14-year-old dead and a shooting in Elliott Park on Monday night. Police responded to the 90 block of Hennepin Avenue South around 9 in the evening. There they found a 14-year-old boy with a life-threatening gunshot wound. He died later. Early Tuesday morning, Minneapolis police say their investigation so far indicates a physical altercation among teenage boys ended when one of them fired a gun. Investigators are still looking into the events that led up to the shooting and trying to identify suspects. No arrests have been made at this point.
I hope tonight is a beautiful, peaceful evening. You've got the Twins at home and the Timberwolves at home. I think it will be very festive.
Entrepreneurs waiting for their chance to get rolling in Minnesota's recreational cannabis market will find out in a month if they get to be among the first marijuana businesses in the state. The Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management announced yesterday it will hold its first lotteries for cannabis business applicants June 5th. The agency will draw from two pools, social equity applicants and general applicants for cultivator, manufacturer, and mezzo-business licenses. Officials say choosing from these groups is meant to give social equity applicants to get a head start in the industry and establish a supply chain for the cannabis retail market. Social equity applicants not chosen on June 5th will get a second chance during a general lottery held later in the summer. General applicants will be notified in the coming weeks whether they are approved for the lottery.
I love that Minnesota has messed this up so bad that the black market now is so strong and illegal weed is so cheap that if you think you're going to have a business, it's not going to succeed. You can have 2 pounds of weed in your house, Joe. 2 pounds.
Is that enough?
You could drive around with 2 ounces in your that little MG thing you drive with a skirt on.
From the Star Tribune.
I'm not going to honor that. I'm not going to honor that.
You did enough times off air, so you don't need to again. From the Star Tribune, the board for the state's largest school district voted to approve social studies textbooks with a series of caveats, including delaying new state standards that mandate ethnic studies for another year, and it chose to table a decision about the future of current social and emotional lessons. The Anoka Hennepin board members last night approving the purchase of books for U.S. history, world history, and AP psychology courses. For the U.S. history course, board members supported a National Geographic textbook, but they directed staff to revise the curriculum for next school year to align with 2011 state standards. New state standards, which require the teachings of ethnic studies, have to be implemented by the 26-27 school year. Board members directed staff to develop a pilot U.S. history curriculum for that year with minimum compliance and balance to the new standards. World history and AP psychology curriculum are to come before the board before the fall. The board also unanimously passed a new English language arts curriculum. And officials from Minnesota State University Mankato have announced significant trims to the school's academic programs. About 30% of them will be cut, and some faculty and students don't like the change. Mankato previously offered a total of 306 degrees and certificates, but beginning next fall, that will fall to 216, a number school officials say is comparable to what other universities in the Minnesota state system provide. Disciplines on the chopping block include French, German, art history, music, and international business among baccalaureate degrees. The school is also eliminating master's degrees in French, Spanish, theater arts, engineering, gender and women's studies, and mathematics education.
John, how many degrees are they offering?
They will be offered, right now they offer 306, and it'll go down to 216.
Well, that seems like a lot.
Well, comparing it in the story, Winona State has 150. And my alma mater, Morehead State University, has 113.
It'd be interesting to compare it to the U of M or some of these bigger schools. With a lot
but
of
if they're cutting music, what are they keeping?
How do you spell that?
With a K.
Okay. Thank God they're keeping theater arts, or getting rid of theater arts, I should say.
But you're opposed to the theater?
The theater.
That was my 2-year degree, Chris. I'm hurt.
Well, I'll explain later why.
Well, look where it landed you.
Well, I changed it to mass communication.
Me got accounting degree there
for the last 2 years.
That boggles my mind.
Why don't we take a quick break before we make more fun of each other? Let's hear from Mr. Accounting.
Not only did me get accounting degree, me tell you to go get Hofferman water.
Did you get the degree? Did you actually graduate?
Of course.
All right.
The School of Higher Learning, Joe.
Wonderful.
You want to go down to a baseball game in Mankato?
I can't. I got to think.
You're busy? Here's a deal right now about Hofferman Water and Connecticut. The anniversary sale is going on right now through the end of May. So maybe you've been on the fence about having them come out for that free water analysis. Well, I'm telling you right now, this is the best time to get on the schedule. So go do that one of two ways. Go to HoffermanWater.com or call them directly at 612-895-2440. It's not a joke. It's not a joke here.
Is this a joke?
$400 off a K5 reverse osmosis system. And get this.
I'm telling you the truth.
A free A200 drinking water system with the purchase of a Premier Series softener. Half off basic installation for any new 1-year rental contract. Folks, not a joke. now's the time to get on the schedule to have them come up for that free water analysis. And when you do that, they're going to give you this thing that's called a water score. And based upon that, they're going to offer you recommendations. But holy cow, that's a better deal than I got through Offerman Water in Connecticut. So have them come out right now. And you know what? It's the best quality water you're ever going to have. It's going to make an amazing difference in the quality of your water. It doesn't matter if you have well water. It doesn't matter if you rely on city water. Either way, Offerman Water and Connecticut is going to give you the best drinking water, the best water. Your showers are going to be better. Your laundry is going to be better. Everything's going to be better with Offerman Water and Connecticut. So once again, get on the schedule, 612-895-2440, or visit HoffermanWater.com. Offerman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Please do me a favor and mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
82 degrees, mid-70s. It's beautiful. You know, the air is
82
clear.
degrees, mid-70s. What does that mean?
That's the forecast for this week.
Oh,
man.
I see.
Coming on, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear out there. You can see the clearness.
It's an omega trap.
It's an omega trick.
Yeah.
You know, weather trick. I'll tell you who's not going to trick you. Dave Dahl. Welter, the Welter family. WelterHeating.com. 4 generations, almost 120 years. If you're going to be flipping off that heat switch, make sure you're putting that furnace to bed properly. It might need a tune-up. It may never have had one. Well, they will help you. You can get an appointment online, get a quote, 612-825-6867 via the phone. WelterHeating.com is the website. Certified techs that will do a fantastic job. You want to get that cooling unit awakened? Well, they'll get it all set for you, or the air purification system in your home. They can help you with that as well. I have had work done in my home with the Welter people, and I can tell you, they are professionals. They do it right, and they just have a great common sense attitude. 4 generations, almost 120 years, and they serve the metropolitan area with pride. So head out to WelterHeating.com, and remember, if you're going to air condition your shelter, make sure it's with the fine folks at Welter.
Thank you, Rook. Guys, I can't stop looking at the newspapers.com thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And now I see a Southdale Motors ad.
Yeah.
Where you can get the brand new 1965 Ford Mustang.
Yep.
And this is the first year of the fastback, of course.
Oh, yeah.
2+2.
Yeah.
Looks like a $5,000 import, but prices start at thousands less. So you could probably get one for what, $2,500?
If you would have just got one back then and just put it in the garage.
$19 a month.
$19 a month. In national and international news, the Trump administration offering $1,000 stipends and travel assistance to undocumented immigrants who volunteer to leave the U.S. for their countries of origin. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said in a statement yesterday, if you're here illegally, self-deportation is the best, safest, and most cost-effective way to leave the U.S. to avoid arrest. Self-deportation, the Trump administration's term for going back to your home country if you do not have explicit authorization to live here in the U.S. DHS, said currently it costs about $17,000 to arrest, detain, and remove an undocumented undocumented.
Do you know if you do rip a piece of paper, raising your eyebrows will not... He raised his eyebrows as if it was going to be quieter if he ripped the paper.
I turn down the
subtle.
radio when I'm looking for an address.
I know.
It's a little more subtle.
Yeah.
A bipartisan group of former state and federal judges sending a letter to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi yesterday criticizing President Trump and his administration for what they called their assault on the judiciary. The letter, signed by more than 150 former Democratic and Republican appointed judges, singled out Bondi for calling judges deranged, saying the Trump administration is sending a very strong message and that, quote, they will come after you and prosecute you. It also called out White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt for declining to rule out arresting Supreme Court justices. The letter also zeroed in on Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan's arrest at her courthouse, calling it yet another attempt to intimidate and threaten the judiciary after a series of rulings by judges appointed by presidents of both parties. U.S. President Donald Trump began his first talks with Canadian's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, today, vowed to bring up tough points that are dividing the two countries since Trump imposed tariffs. Their meeting started with smiles and a handshake, despite Trump's desire to make Canada the 51st state, a prospect that has chilled bilateral relations. The subject quickly came up as they took questions from reporters. The president said, we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. Carney immediately answered with, it's not for sale and it won't be for sale ever. The two are scheduled to meet through the early afternoon hours. The shoe company Skechers is being acquired for more than $9 billion. To be taken private by the investment firm of 3G Capital. The deal comes amid the growing uncertainty over the tariffs on foreign goods and how they will affect companies who make their products overseas, especially in China. Athletic shoemakers have invested heavily in production in Asia. In a press release announcing the deal, the companies did not mention the potential impacts on the tariffs on its business going forward.
You will get a thorough and in-depth breakdown with Mr. Money Talk, a guy that invests in shoes and shoe companies.
Yeah, he is. He's a big shoe guy.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. News and World Report is out with its annual listing of the best states in the United States.
Oh, God.
First launched.
This is going to make us mad, isn't
Yes,
it?
It is. Why else would I put the story in there?
It was already read to me this morning with great glee.
First launched in 20.
See?
I'm not reading it with glee myself, Joe. I'm just reading it to see if
I
can get
understand.
a rise out of anybody on the other side of the room here. First launched in 2017, the Best States rankings assess the 50 states across 8 categories. Those categories: healthcare, education, natural environment, opportunity, economy, crime, corrections, and infrastructure and fiscal stability. For the third year in a row, Utah is ranked number 1. Utah's economy has evolved to become one of the most diverse in the U.S., with industries like tech, tourism, healthcare, and energy standing as major employees, and the state's pivot for more traditional roots in areas like manufacturing and agriculture, further fueled of late by the decision to invest in engineering, has also helped. If you're wondering, Minnesota ranked number 4 on the list.
Number 4?
Number 4, yes. Utah 1, as I said, New Hampshire 2, Idaho 3, Minnesota 4, Nebraska 5, Florida 6, Vermont 7, South Dakota 8, Massachusetts 9, and Washington 10. The bottom 10, the 50th, Louisiana.
Who did this?
World News, U.S. News and World Report. Louisiana, Alaska, Mississippi, New Mexico, and West Virginia ranked.
What were
as
the give us the criteria again, John?
the criteria?
Slowly give us the criteria.
Healthcare.
Okay.
I can tell you where Minnesota ranks on all these if you want to know, because I figured you might want to know. Yeah. Healthcare, education.
Education, the kids can't read or do math, but go ahead.
They're ranked 11th according to this in the nation. Natural environment.
Well, we can't dispute that.
Opportunity.
Okay.
Economy.
It's dreadful.
28th according to the crime and corrections.
It's not doing too well.
16th according to this.
Yeah.
Infrastructure.
Well, the roads are pretty bad.
10th according to this. And fiscal stability.
There isn't any.
Wait a minute.
13th according to this.
There isn't any.
Look at what he just broke down.
Governor Cockwomble. There is no fiscal stability.
No, he just broke it down perfectly.
Yeah.
If you're a freeloading asshat,
Yeah,
this is the place to move.
This is perfect.
so glad I found that story.
Thank you, John.
30
Oh, that's it. You're
What
going
was
to
it?
kick me off now.
20th in crime? That's great.
In crime? No, it was 16th.
16th, sure. That's
16th
great.
in crime.
Here we go.
I hope tonight is a pleasant
Hey,
night.
go to that T-Wolves game.
No, it'll be fine.
Maybe don't get shot. Or the Timberwolves game.
You got the
Good
Omega
job,
block,
John.
the whole
Johnny.
deal.
That's
Everything.
great.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you, Kenny.
Thanks a
I'm
lot,
proud of
John.
you.
Glad you
Thanks, John.
appreciate my efforts.
Yeah,
Let's
I do.
go here.
That was awesome.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
I mentioned this yesterday. Today it made the front page of the Star Tribune. The state Supreme Court, our state Supreme Court, says toplessness on the part of a woman, obviously, is not necessarily illegal. And it all stems from a case down in Rochester, Minnesota, in July of 2021 when the police were called to a quick trip where Louisa Plancart had her shirt pulled up, revealing her breasts. Plancart was known to officers. They already had charged her twice that week with indecent exposure, once for exposing her underwear and once for exposing her breasts and underwear. When cops approached her, they asked, why are your breasts out? She told them she was a stripper at a biker bar and that all the Catholic girls do it. Well, that's been the rumor.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Confirm. Can confirm.
She was placed under arrest and charged with misdemeanor. Misdemeanor indecent exposure for the willfully and lewd exposing of her private parts. Plancart challenged the charge, arguing her breasts are not private, and even if they are, there was nothing lewd about exposing them. Well, the girl might have a point, huh? I don't know why you do it at a quick trip, but,
Right.
you know.
Pick your spots.
The Minnesota Supreme Court has now agreed with her. In overturning District Court and Court of Appeals decisions, the state's High Court ruled last week that there is nothing illegal about a woman having her breasts out in public in Minnesota as long as she is not engaging in sexual activity. All right. It's a 20-page opinion. It was written by Justice Carl Prochassini and an 11-page concurring opinion by Justice Sarah Hennessy presented a dissertation on the wording of Minnesota's legal statutes and the hypocrisy of state laws pertaining to women's bodies. Indecent exposure is an obscenity in Minnesota, and laws preventing it keep people from willfully exposing their body lewdly or showing their private parts or the private parts of another person. It also prohibits anyone from engaging in sexual behavior in public. Breastfeeding was already exempt from the law.
Okay.
I would hope it would be. Procaccini's opinion discussed what exactly Minnesota meant by using the word lewd to prohibit indecent exposure. The origins of the law date to 1885. Because the gals were getting itchy back then,
Yeah, I guess
too.
so, huh?
1885,
Very
when the
hot.
legislature decided to borrow elements of the New York Penal Code. The New York law was based on English common law, which defined lewdness as the irregular indulgence of lust or other sexually oriented behavior that is indecent or offensive in a public place. Procaccini wrote that because lust and indecency are ambiguous terms, often left to the beholder, lewd behavior in Minnesota's legal statutes refers to conduct of a sexual nature. While Plancart's conduct of a sexual nature? No, the Supreme Court said it was not. You're just hanging around, Quick Trip.
Yeah. Literally hanging.
Although the police reports established that Plancart was charged with indecent exposure 3 times in 1 week for exposing some combination of her breasts and underwear, none of those reports provided any insight into the nature of her exposure during those incidents. Procaccini wrote. Moreover, the officer's body-worn camera footage does not capture Plancart engaging in any conduct of a sexual nature. Now, in July of 2021,
What do you got?
it might have been a hot day.
Okay.
Mid-July.
Yeah, mid-July.
Humid, too. Yeah.
He added that Plancart admitted to being a stripper and that her comment about Catholic girls raises questions about her mental state. I don't think so. At the time of the arrest, not the inherent sexual nature of her conduct. So, in other words, if you're not engaging in sexual conduct, the new template in Minnesota seems to be you can be topless.
Doesn't this sound like an episode of Reno 911?
Kind of, yeah.
Right.
Topless at the Quick Trip?
Yeah. My interpretation of this, Joe, so if you're going to visit Garage Logic, the podcast, at the Minnesota State Fair, it is perfectly legal for you to remove your top. However, you may not lick your finger and circle your nipple.
Right.
That would be considered.
That's
that would
one
be
step
lewd.
too far. Yes.
So no licking the finger.
Do you really think we needed that explanation?
I just wanted to be clear.
I'm hoping that that's how it will play out this year.
Not knowing you were going to bring this up, I got an email correspondence on the Garage Logic Town Council. Ingy wonders if he can use both fingers and circle the.
I'm trying to be serious
same
here.
time.
This is a watershed moment in Minnesota, one of the top 10 states to live in. All right,
Number four, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. Did it say anything about toplessness, John?
The lack of sexual conduct means the exposure of her breasts, the young lady, was not lewd, the opinion said. And since it wasn't, there is no need to determine if breasts are private parts under the statutory language of indecent exposure. Hennessy, in her concurring opinion, wrote that clarifying whether female breasts are private parts could provide concrete guidance for law enforcement and promote consistent, non-disciplinary application of the law. Her opinion determined that multiple dictionary definitions clearly show that private parts refer to genitals, which Hennessy notes are a person's reproductive and excretory organs, and breasts do not fall under those categories. So there you are.
Use that E word.
The Court of Appeals decision affirming Plancart's arrest had argued that even with that definition, issues remain because state law makes a separate category. I love reading court decisions. Because state law makes a separate category within the indecent exposure statute for breastfeeding, it would seem that the legislature wanted to differentiate between a woman exposing her breast for that reason versus exposing them in general. And that's what Hennessy disagreed with.
Here's my question here. Later in the story, it says, if a woman exposes her breasts while dancing, is she engaged in conduct of a sexual nature? Hennessy asked, or does the determination depend on the way she is dancing? So, what kind of music, if she's dancing to a certain kind of music, would it be considered non-sexual?
The chicken dance.
If she's
like
dancing,
polka.
If
polka.
she's dancing to say something by the Carpenters,
Or
that would be non-sexual.
what about that Irish stomp, leg moving dance?
That's non-sexual.
Is there a scale that we have too that, the lower they are?
No, Matt, we there's no scale.
The higher my eyebrows?
Right. No, that wouldn't be sexual.
Well, good luck, and I don't know what to make about the Catholic girls comment. That's always been the rumor, but I've never had that.
Right.
I've never really encountered that experience.
Where do you stand on the Queen of Hearts as a song in general?
I don't stand very
Juice
highly
Newton?
on it.
I'm a
It's a
Juice
good
Newton
song.
guy.
Yeah. Dave Edmonds did a great version.
Oh, thank you, John. That's just amazing that you'd even weigh in with that BS.
Were any of them
Only
topless?
because they come to us. Honest to God.
Wasn't the hit version,
Honest
of
to
course,
God.
but it's the really good version.
It really is, John. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
I got the Caddy 3 right.
Oh, wait, you get this one, John. You get this one right here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Only because they come to us all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga province, South Africa, from our friends, the Traveling Lymans. It was on this day.
Joe, today is May 6th.
It is. On this day in 1834, two Presbyterian missionaries from Connecticut, Sam W. and Gideon H. Pond, arrived at Fort Snelling and soon began working with the Dakota on the shores of Lake Calhoun. If you think I'm saying the other name, you're crazy. The Pond brothers developed the Dakota alphabet, published a Dakota newspaper, and recorded traditional Dakota practices during their years as missionaries. Because in 1834, that lake didn't even have a name, much less Bade-Makaska.
Oh, I thought that was the whole point, that it was named Bade-Makaska.
No, it wasn't.
You want to fight?
No. You want to?
You want to go?
You want to go?
Go where?
Want to wrestle? Let's wrestle.
Eat pizza.
On this day,
Joe, today is May 6th.
in 1840, soldiers expelled Selkirker squatters from the Fort Snelling military reservation and burned their cabins. Although the Selkirkers had moved to escape the fort's boundaries the year before, a new survey showed they had remained within the military's jurisdiction. The settlers then relocated to the site that later became the city of St. Paul. In 1865, on this day.
May 6th.
What now? May 6th? 1865, a group of Cutlerites, a branch of the Mormon Church that had faced discrimination elsewhere, arrived at Clitheroe Lake and laid the foundations for a settlement in Otter Tail County.
So I have a book I think it's called Ever the Land. Talks about a Swedish family that came over and had to walk up to the area and settled up there, and they had nothing but good things to say about doing business with them, and said they were much preferred to the businessmen that were over in Battle Lake nearby.
Are you talking about the Cutlerites?
Yeah. Yep.
On this day,
May 6th.
in 1896, groundbreaking ceremonies were held for the third state capitol building, the one you know now, designed by Cass Gilbert. On this day,
May 6th.
in 1897, the New York Times printed an article headline, "Named by the President, Stanford Newell of Minnesota nominated for Minister to the Netherlands." It went on to report that Mr. Newell, appointed Minister to the Netherlands, is one of the prominent Republicans of Minnesota. He has never held public office, but has been connected with the Republican State Committee, and during some of the most important campaigns was its chairman. His appointment was due to the request of the Republicans of Minnesota without regard to faction. What was his name?
Rick.
Stanford
Umberto.
Newell. On this day,
May 6th.
in 1948, Marianne Courteau, who later became known as the singer and songwriter Mary McGregor, was born in St. Paul. In 1976, she recorded the pop song "Torn Between Two Lovers." which became a #1 hit the following year. She married Paul D. McGregor on November 13, 1971, but they were later divorced.
Yeah, breaking all the rules.
Didn't know she was from here.
1948. And finally, on this day...
Oh, you're talking about May 6th, Joe.
And we were visited by our friend Dave Dahl. On this day in 1965, they call it windstorms in northern Twin Cities suburbs, including those known collectively as the Fridley tornadoes, killed 14 people and caused $57 million in damages. I will add there were 6 tornadoes and all 4 of them F4s. Oof. It was, and we haven't seen anything since like that. Thank you, GLers.
Know this day in sports history?
Oh, this day in sports history. Yeah.
Come on, Wolves. Let's go, bros.
That's still so new from
It sometimes escapes
Tom
the
that
mind.
I forget it, yeah.
Yeah.
It was on this day,
On May 6th.
1962. Boy, this is something to remember. The Twin Cities Skippers lost to the Detroit Thunderbirds 27-15 in the first ever finals of the National Bowling League.
Okay, I was just going to ask, can anyone name what sport that
sport?
would have been?
We couldn't even win a bowling title.
Where'd they play?
At the bowling lanes there.
South
We
St. Paul.
stink.
I don't know where they were.
Who stinks?
That was way before that bowling deal went up by the Mall of America. There was a
Jillian's?
No.
Bloomington?
what was it? Then it became a comedy club. Dave
Jillian's.
Oh, man. No.
Rodney Dangerfield appeared there where I met him backstage, went and talked with him.
Thunderbird?
No.
The something room, Carlton?
The Carlton.
Carlton,
That
sure.
was a
That was a
site.
bowling alley.
That was a site for professional bowling.
No kidding.
I believe so.
Did you cover an event there?
Earl Anthony.
I don't think I did. I think I drew the line at bowling. I said, you can fire me. I'm not doing a
Were
bowling.
you maybe offered that gig?
I probably was. I didn't do bowling.
No bowling.
No bowling. Thank you, GL.
Okay.
Joe's correct. The building housed
Of course I am.
the building that housed the Carlton Ballroom was originally built in 1961 as a professional bowling
Then it
auditorium.
was there for this match in 62.
Intended to be a venue for the National Bowling League, but the concept wasn't successful and it sat vacant for many years.
Yeah.
You know what?
Be
You
damned.
learn more here by accident.
Mel Tillis was
really
the first
do.
person to perform there.
You really do.
Please do us a favor and hit subscribe right there on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. Yeah, that's right. Garage Logic has a YouTube channel, and you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon. And you can also see full segments, video shorts, and there's behind-the-scenes footage in some cases, but it's all there for you. And you can find it online at the Garage Logic YouTube channel. And follow us on all of our social channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.